Hi everyone, this is WhiteHawke and we're going to be playing the Stanley Parable now. I played Gone Home last time. It was the Do Not Click video. And now I'm finally getting around to playing the Stanley Parable. I don't think I'm going to be showing all the endings because one of them involves like doing a repetitive task for like 2 hours. And no, I think it's 4 hours. Oh, it's a very long time. I'm not doing that ending and probably several other troll endings. But the thing about the Stanley Parable is that unlike Gone Home and a couple of other games, it actually, the story works with the player. It actually changes depending on their actions. There's not many choices here, but every choice will make a big difference, usually.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons.
One button.
Orders came to him through a monitor.
Well, maybe a couple.
Telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did.
That's literally his job. Just press whatever the computer says for him to press.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, before I continue, I need to raise the sound because I can barely hear anything. I was actually really silent in the previous video, the Gone Home video too. That should be good enough. So this is the Stanley Parable. Let's start playing it. And let's close this door first.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Yeah, so that's the instant end, where you do absolutely nothing. The quickest end you can get, I think.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
There's an achievement related to, I think, this door or this door.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office. But
whatever, there's a door if you touch 5 times, the narrator will be like, oh my god, did you just do that just for the achievement? No, let's make you earn it.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So you can crouch, and there are some stuff, there's some creepy stuff you can look at. You can turn off some computer screens. Oh yeah, they all say the end is never, the end is never, the end is never. You cannot jump. However, you can crouch, and that's something you can do to get out of this place. I don't know where to climb onto, however. Oh yeah, it must be over here. Maybe. No, probably not. Ooh, what is this? Awaiting input. Oh, yeah, this is a secret. I have no idea what it is about. Basically, you can input something on a computer, but then it's... like, that's the only input you can put at any point. Who knows? Maybe it is related to an ending, but I've never figured it out. I honestly, I should be playing this game normally right now, but I want to do the secret endings first. How did I did this? I don't remember. I had to climb onto something. And, well, yeah, I can do that, but... oh, there we go. That's how I was supposed to do it. Bye.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Okay, so besides the fact that the Stanley Parable does this type of gameplay properly, quote unquote, we basically paid for this game so that we can listen to a guy bitch at us. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, bitch at us. But no, he can be nice if you actually listen to him. That's pretty much it. You're supposed to leave now. I'm gonna play the game yourself or look at another playthrough if you want to see what happens if you choose yes. I just want to show that's possible. Because that's one of the things that I want to do after playing the game multiple times. I was wondering, how the hell am I supposed to go there? Well, obviously, you climb onto this. You have to be standing up, like this. Climb onto it. It's a little awkward. And then you crouch here. Control to crouch. Okay? That's how you do it. Alright, speaking of which, that computer right over here. See? It's not saying awaiting for input anymore. Now it's this one. And I always thought, well, if I press all 5 buttons, it's gonna do something, right? I don't think so. I've never seen it do anything. It's a red herring. So I'm gonna play the game normally now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Door on my left, huh? Well, what about if I do this?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
For reference, this was a Half-Life 2 mod initially before turning into its own game.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Yep, gonna stand here.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Okay, I'll continue.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
But this to go back. But here, if you continue, you'll actually go on the wrong way. But I'm actually going to go back on the
And so he
proper
detoured
road.
through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Or I could go down here. I'll continue.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Oh no, maybe there is something here. There's a broom.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
You
No
think so,
reason
huh?
to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ooh, is there something down here? Feels
Are
like there's an
Are
opening.
you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Because I like listening to you. Isn't that right?
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
I keep thinking there's something under here, actually.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path.
Y'all see it?
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Still, still can barely hear the character. Gonna manage the options here. I want subtitles. Can I have subtitles? I don't think so, actually. Wow, why is the detail all very low? This is a strong computer. Okay, I think that's good. What? It crashed! What? Okay, I guess I really was dead to the game. Or maybe the game had to restart to manage the settings. Whoops. Skip. Okay, let's see. Did I manage the options? Nope. Everything's still low. Okay, whatever. If it can't take it, well, whatever. I'll leave it as is. No subtitles at all, huh? No, there is closed captioning. Okay. I don't... They leave it on audio. Gone Home had a completely separate tab for it. It's kind of weird.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
See, it's
Stanley
different.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's all different, actually. Unfortunately, doing the closet thing again is not worth it now. I'm just gonna go straight where I need to go.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Doors closed behind you, by the way. You know, to keep you from going back and
Yet there was
making
not
a different
single
choice.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
So yeah, I really wanted to go through the broom closet and to do something funny with it. There was more you could do, but unfortunately, because it crashed, there was little point to
Coming to
doing
a
that.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Sure. What's over here? Well, not a door closed. Okay. Come on, I'm going in.
Stepping in.
Oops. I was just playing with the doors. I guess I have to leave now. Forever. Oh, I said I was gonna do the normal ending? Nah. Didn't feel like it. Never feel like it. You won't say anything if you go in the broom closet now. He's gone. We ditched him. Literally. So if you dislike the narrator, this is the ending you should go for. The one where you quite literally ditch him. Although the game obviously was made to account for this. Now this door's open. Our office was right here, by the way. But now this door is open. Where does it lead to? You are now leaving. I guess we are. It's supposed to be creepy because there's no narrator, nothing. You're just moving around by yourself. But people are likely to get this ending last, possibly. It's a very difficult ending to figure out because for that one instance, you can actually go back through the door as it's closing. That's the one difference. And I can barely see. Like, seriously. I don't know. I don't know why it's so dark. Escape pod launch bay. Cool. That's it. That's it. That was the ending. No narration, no nothing. And now we begin the game again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Like, one of the other creepy things about this game is that sometimes things change. Doors aren't open. There's a new passage. The, y'all don't remember this, right?
When
Maybe not.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yep. We're actually going to do it
detoured through the
for real
medical
now.
section,
Seriously.
walked straight ahead to the
Seriously,
opposite door
seriously.
and got back on track.
Seriously.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ooh! Seems I can open this door now. But is there an ending? I don't think so. So it says, because the boss knows that what the boss says goes, if the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. To open that door, you have to be super fast, I believe.
Stepping into his
So
manager's
yeah, once you
office,
like reach
Stanley
this
was
spot,
once
the
again
door starts
stunned to
closing, but you have an
discover
opportunity
not an
to
indication
back
of any human
into
life.
like
What could
to,
it
to,
mean?
to go back
Stanley
before it
wondered
closes.
aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Well, we'll have to do
Stanley
trial and
just
error.
sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device, Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, 2845.
We'll get to it eventually.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in,
Uh.
and the door just opened all by itself.
Oh.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, if you do it, like, you know what? Let's show what happens if you do it properly. You want to fool around this game. That's the point of it.
This was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
He also says different things in the beginning. And see,
When Stanley
we
came
got
to a
to
set
this
of 2
part
open
much
doors,
faster than
he
before.
entered the door on his
There was an
left.
extension last time. All these little differences help make
Yet there was
up
not a
your
single
own
person
story
here
every
either.
single time you play the
Feeling a
game.
wave of
That's the
disbelief,
big difference
Stanley
between
decided to go
this
up to his
and
boss's office.
games
Coming
like
to a
Gone Home
staircase,
and
Stanley walked upstairs
I want to say
to
other
his
examples, but they
boss's
don't come to
office.
mind right now. Games made by the Chinese Room. There, I said it. Games made by the Chinese Room. And yet again, I can open this because I was fast. Gotta go fast. This door already closed up though. Oh, I think that's normal actually though.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
I actually did it like a couple of seconds too quickly. No, not even that. A couple of frames too quickly. If I had let him like just finish his text, that would have been going up normally. Instead, he's doing this because he wants to mock me.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Right over here. Loading, loading, loading. Gotta load the new area. Pretty big area.
Into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Can't go back up.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Trying to go back. Will he say anything? No, because you can't go back at all. Game can't account for everything, so it burns the bridges. Oh, there's an escape passage right here. We'll ignore it. I said I would do it normally.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, over here. Gotta press another button. And another one right over there. Mind control facility.
The monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's code.
So I'm supposed to be right over there, I think.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place.
Some of these images are repeated, by the way. Like you can see this red one right here being repeated over here. There's probably a secret in one of these images, actually. Maybe several.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. They couldn't
someone was fired. 631 apparently.
Been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Pirate right up here.
No.
Yeah, so if you look carefully, there's some jokes.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
This is more of a choose-your-own-adventure type of game.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Also, there's tons of buttons here. I wonder if we can do anything with them. Oh, we can dismantle the buttons by pressing this button right here. Psych!
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls
Can't turn it off anymore.
And leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
I think sometimes it
This
can be
is
6
much
minutes.
better than what I
A lot
had in
more.
mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
No.
What this means,
Incorrect.
I barely know where to start.
Green.
What's that?
Green.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Yeah, so there's tons of things you can do here. Press buttons in order. Think you can press a code.
I'll tell you
You can't do
exactly
anything.
what happened to them. I erased them. I
You can
turned off
try.
the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
I actually
I
want to let
simply
him
let you
speak,
sit
but
there in your office forever,
basically the
pushing
shtick is that
buttons
there seems to be
endlessly
lots of
and
things
then
you can
dying
do here.
alone.
No, you cannot do
Other
anything.
times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have
And you
to say
think you
this,
can
though,
go here, but
this version
no,
of
you
events
cannot.
has been rather amusing.
By the way, there's an ending for
Watching
trying to
you
use
try make
console
sense of
commands. It
everything
doesn't
and
work.
take back the control
As in,
away
you can't
from
use console
is
commands because the game is like,
and
nope,
must
you need to go to the
eat
room
go.
where
I'm sure whatever I come
you're
up
punished
with
for
on
it.
the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh,
press the
dear
1
me,
and
what's
2
the matter,
buttons. Where's the
Stanley?
3 and
Is
4?
it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're
And there's
supposed
a
to be
button right
doing
here.
right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen.
That's button
clicking
number
on
4. Where's
every
number
little
3?
thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being...
Where's number 3?
Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it
It's
go
right there. It
peacefully?
was there all along.
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I
Well, I'm not
will
gonna
be
make it in
laughing at
time.
every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
So yeah, that's the bad ending where you try to take control, but instead you're rewarded with death. Nothing but death. I think this ending is kind of funny. You could do it again. it doesn't change the result, but he'll say different things, saying like, "Oh, you're back, huh? Think you can actually make a difference?" Nope. It's
All
gonna
his
end up the same
coworkers
way
were
again.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't remember this yellow box being here. Also, yeah, this is back. Again, I keep saying to y'all, I thought I could input all 5 numbers, colors, because it has to be done over several different attempts at the game. I don't think it does anything, much like that ending I just went through, where you think you can escape at the last moment, but no, there is no escape. And this is the extended passage once again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, so now I'm going to show what happens if you do the good ending.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming
Psych,
to a
I'm going down here.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
And there's nothing here. Like, you can go here, but there's nothing.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed
Again, see,
everyone had
it makes you think, oh, there's a
his
password
boss
right
would
here.
think he was crazy.
Nothing.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Oh man, I'm in the
And as
loop.
Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Well then.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
I want to go through.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing
But
me,
no,
thinking
impossible.
about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
It's the
Was
same 3
Stanley
rooms
simply
being repeated over and over
deceiving
because you wonder.
believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley
See, this is the
as
car
awake right
place.
now as he's ever been in his life.
This is the
Now, hearing the voice speak these
cola
words was quite a shock to
this thing
Stanley.
place.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a
And
dream.
this is the 1, 2,
Did the voice
B4
not see him
place.
float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
Count
Let me
sheep.
go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope. Ta-da!
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Mm-hmm. So that's the ending where you go insane because you're in the same loop forever.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
My god, he's so petty, don't you think? Just because you didn't listen to him that one time, he decides to make you go insane. And he pisses all over your body too. But then that's why there's the option of evading the narrator and not listening to him. That's why these options exist. So yeah, I put input 2, the button 2, but it's at some point it resets and you can't do anything, so there's not really much point for it. I'm doing it anyway though.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the good ending now. Seriously. I swear it. Technically, I have to now.
Not a single person here either.
Because either the endings have an option now are to go insane again, evade the narrator, and therefore escape forever. That's pretty much it, let's be real. I got a feeling. Money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. So, that's a lovely purse. Yeah, it says different messages every time.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we can't do this normally anymore.
Buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
It's kind of over dramatic what he says if you do this the normal way. It's just a shame that I didn't show it because I wanted to fool around first.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Whoops! Did I say I was going to do things normally?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, you say so, huh?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Oh well.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I agree. So wait, I was actually dead? Nope, not quite. Not yet, anyway.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Goodbye.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Or not.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically this is a kind of a developer's room. Solitaire, Chloe database, stuff. Mm-hmm. Credits. And the impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. But who's the new narrator, huh? Don't go right or left. Different boss's office. Narrator outtakes.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Stanley stood on the stage. It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you have even the most fundamental understanding of good.
So yeah, there's narrator clips that aren't used in the game, even though there's tons of possibilities. Considering how simple the gameplay is, because you're just walking around pressing the occasional button. That's it. That's all. But unlike Gone Home and several other games, this is done with the player's at the player's words escape me right now. At the player's will. Your choices matter. As far as they can matter, anyway. We haven't seen the apartment ending yet. We haven't seen everything yet. I'm just taking my time looking at stuff. The Stanley Parable HD remix. Yeah, because it originally was just a mod of the Half-Life 2 engine, I believe, so it's quite simple. So yeah, there's a free variant of this game you can play, I think. Maybe. Does it matter? Well, I think it's time to exit. I don't think I saw everything, but I've seen enough.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
No choice.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
So it basically she's saying, oh, you can quit at any time, and that's your choice. You could also just do begin the game again, but I haven't shown all the endings yet, so had to let that happen. Loading. Loading. No loading. It's forcing you to choose begin the game again. Okay. I don't know, maybe something else would have shown up after like 2 hours, but
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps
I really don't want
to
to do the
stop by
good
employee
ending
lounge
just
first,
yet.
just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room.
Yes,
But
yes.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump while the cargo is from the cargo while it is in motion. Cargo lift
Look,
while it is in
Stanley,
motion.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that
Oh my, I can go right over here.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Liar.
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
So I'm gonna listen to him this time. Just this time.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that
run in
it's
a
killing us,
circle.
Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier
Looping forever.
if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Well, what's the solution this time?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
But the whole point of this game is for me to not stay in one place forever. That's what you were narrating, buddy. So let's see what's over here.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Too bad.
No! No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley? Let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Okay. Let's
Yes.
go back to the other room.
Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
Looks nice down here. It looked nice for a second.
I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Nope.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
He has a lot to
be
say
happy
depending on...
here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Yeah, he says different things depending on you going back in that place and out of it over and over and over. But he already stopped believing that I actually want to stick around him, so, you know, might as well finish it.
Is it over?
That's it.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Mm-hmm. He really did try to be sad, didn't he?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No input computer. Well, I obeyed him by going through the red door. Now, what happens if I don't obey him when he asks me to go through the red door, huh?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Let's try it out.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room?
He says
But
different
eager
things
to
every
get back
time.
to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley,
If you fall down, I'm not going to show this ending, but if you fall down to the
I'm not your enemy,
place
really.
below, you die, and the
realize that
narrator is like,
investing your trust in
Stanley
someone
jumped
else
off
can
the
be difficult,
cargo lift
but the
and
fact
died
is
because of
that
his
the
own
story
stupidity,
has
something
been
like that.
about What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Yeah, the door opened that way.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see?
To be quite frank,
Vehicles?
these wall
Skill
textures don't look like
trees?
unloaded
Work with
wall
me. You've
textures.
given me absolutely nothing so far.
There's crappier games on Steam that literally
Let
don't
me take
load
a stab
textures
in the dark
properly.
at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
And you have to pay money for
There
them.
we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Or I could choose the normal options, but no, let's take a third option.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest.
It's
I'm looking
average.
for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
It's funny.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
It did. It did. I actually did like it.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
What is it? Yes, it's this game.
Baby crawls left
If you do
towards
this
danger.
game for
You click the
2
button to move him back
2 hours,
to
1
the
hour,
right.
I'm not sure.
And if he reaches
If
the
you complete
fire,
it,
you fail.
you get an
It's a
ending.
very
There's an actual
moving
ending for
all about the
doing this game
desperation
over and
tedium
over and
of
over.
endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once
4
you've been playing it
hours,
for about
oof.
4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make
To be
sure
fair,
it's
4
a
hours is
hit.
how long a
Be
baby
sure
stays
to
up
keep
before having
notes
to
on
go to
your
bed, I think.
experience.
That is seriously the sound effects they decide to use. But yeah, if you do this for 2 hours, the narrator comes back and says, okay, this is neat, but let's see how dedicated you really are. And he puts up another button to your left or right, I'm not sure, that you also have to press. So you have to keep moving between the buttons over and over, pressing them for another 2 hours. And at the end, you get an ending where the screen turns white and you get a bunch of text, and that's it. Obviously, we don't want that to happen anymore, so
You heartless bastard.
it's boring.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
So you say-
since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
I wonder what game it's gonna be. Of course, it had to be Minecraft, but we can't jump and we can't break the blocks, so
A game I had
we're just stuck
absolutely
here.
nothing to do with. But is it
Sorry for
enough?
those sounds, but someone
Tell me
moving
that, Stanley.
tables
Will
upstairs.
it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Where?
This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
It's
I know
cheap.
this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Could have entered. I should have entered.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only
Oh,
got
now he's gonna
half
let me
the
inside.
experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better.
I don't think he says anything if you
Wait,
just wait outside.
That's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
I think they got permission to do this, right? Use Minecraft assets.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No. Ironically, it's not even that dark compared to like the ending where you escape through a shuttle.
No. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
New game? Oh, what is it? It's probably the reason why Yahtzee liked this game, actually. Portal. Of course.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out.
Still can't
listening
jump.
to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Oh. That was just open. No actual portals.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
That's not a companion cube, by the way. It's just a cube.
No, actually,
After science something.
I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble.
You just stopped talking as soon as I dropped down to that thing. I fell somewhere else. I didn't even see where I dropped. What's over here? It's dark. It's too dark. I'm pretty sure it keeps going for quite a while. Yep. No actual buttons to press over here. Okay. What a waste of time. I don't sure if this... Oh, it is. It's the actual ending.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Loading. Okay, there we go. So I'm running out of endings actually. There's at least 3 more endings I'm gonna cover. Wow, just directly bring us to the choice.
A set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Okay, I
Perhaps
said
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
I said 3 more
just to
endings.
admire.
It's actually 4 more endings. Sorry.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, but eager to get back to business.
Yeah, he said that's
Stanley
the
took
4th different thing he
first
says
open
about the
door
long
on his left.
employee room. Anyway, we have to do 2
Stanley
more
was so
things in
bad
this
at
passage
following
over here.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
So I went through this passage twice already.
Look,
I'm not sure if
Stanley,
there's
I think
actually
perhaps
anything
we've
more we
gotten
can
off
do
on
over
the
there
wrong
by like
foot
choosing a
here.
different door.
I'm not your enemy.
But,
really not. I
I'm gonna
realize
leave
that
it be.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
We're actually gonna go over there
The
now.
fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been
I'll
neglecting.
give you ample time to go down there, by the way.
Someone you've forgotten.
And of course, there's another ending for
Please,
screwing up and falling down
stop
to
trying to
the
make
floor
every
below.
decision by
Like
yourself.
below.
Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Should I? Just waiting to see if he has anything else to say. Okay, I'll pick up the phone. This is the wrong thing to do, by the way. This is probably just one of the worst endings, actually.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Can't move. I can look around, but I can't move.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Ugh. Well, I don't have to listen to you. This is... I mentioned this before, but this is probably one of the creepiest endings, if you ask me. Mostly because of the simplistic base models. Trying to close the door. Nope, I don't think you cannot escape from this ending. He has nothing else to say if you just stand still. Okay, creepy ending, go.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm proving a point. I'm proving a point. I'll wait as long as I need to. But there's probably not going to be anything. Okay, it's been over 3 minutes. I think it's pretty obvious that nothing happens, no matter how long you wait doing nothing. The clock actually works. At least the seconds needle works.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Press F to die. So yeah, this ending is really creepy to me because of how it's not made out of malice. It's made out of explaining how Stanley's life actually is for
I can't wait to tell
what
the
it is,
story
you
to
know?
my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it.
It's hard to explain.
We
I'm
all
playing the
just
game. I'm still
laugh
playing the
and
game.
laugh at the time. I thought everyone had
So I gotta
gone
go
missing.
one more time to that passage on the right door, just to
When Stanley came
do
to a set
the
of
other
two
thing you could have done with the
this was
phone.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his
Fifth
stomach.
thing
but
he
eager
says
to
when
get
you're in that
back to
room.
business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley,
Bring
I
me
think
to that
perhaps we've gotten
place.
off on the wrong
Quickly.
foot. I'm not sure.
Please.
You really are not. I realize that investing in your trust
You know, it's interesting
in
to
someone
look at
else
the,
can be difficult,
how long
but
I've been
the
playing this
fact
game.
is that the
Almost an
story
hour
has
and a
been
half.
about
At this rate, it's
nothing
actually
but
going to be
you all
just
this
a little
time.
shorter than
There's someone you've been
how long it took me to
neglecting,
play
someone you've
Please. Gone Home. Except Gone Home can be finished in 2 minutes if you know what to do. But if you take your time, it's 2 hours. Almost 2 hours.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just
So yeah, you
unplug the
unplug that.
phone? Now, that wasn't supposed to be
What
a
kind of
choice.
phone
How did
is
you do
plugged into that anyway?
You actually
That's not how they work.
chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves
We know
to
that's
one
not it.
another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
What? Now what?
Excellent. Making
Oh, I was
choices
supposed to
on a
practice.
regular
Whoops.
basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay. What could it be? Oh, and now they're making sure that you can't go over there.
Meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
It's probably still possible to clip through this, actually. Maybe not. It's possible to clip through anything, let's be real. That chair makes it look like you can go on it. Even though you can't jump.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
So you say.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Whoops.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
I think the same thing happens if you choose the left door first. Anyway, the narrator decided to shut the game down himself, but he does not have that right, now does he?
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground.
Hey, I bought the
Did you
game.
think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious.
We still haven't done that yet.
It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Okay, I guess the
When
game probably
Stanley
restarted
came to a
back here
set of
again.
2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We still have to go through that one ending.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story
They want me to
first.
go on the
I'm
left.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Okay,
That
it
means
keeps
choosing
looping back to
responsibly
this
and
until you go
always
on the
putting
door
the story
the one on the left.
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
That's what I assume.
All
Maybe
right.
if you do it like millions of times,
When
I'll do
Stanley
something
came
different.
to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Cannot open the broom closet place.
Coming to a staircase,
Can't go
Stanley
downstairs.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Definitely cannot go here because there's not even the plaque of saying that the executioners are there anymore. What?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Well, this is different.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp
This is a
breath
weird manager's
and then
office. I
spoke
kind of
the
like it though.
code.
Come on, you don't have anything else to say?
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115. Oh, I know now.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it.
I
But
can't
you know
do it.
What? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to.
I'm pretty sure you
decide
can't
you
do
had
it.
Better
Like,
things to do.
seriously.
I asked
I
you
read that
for
I'm
this
supposed to
one
speak into my
single
Blue
thing
Yeti
for
and I'm
your
not close enough.
respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through
Night
the door
Shark
on the right.
115.
You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
Yeah, that's the end.
Walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
So yeah, I think actually what it does is like, it makes you go through both endings of these doors. Just back to the beginning if you screw up something.
Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story.
We've already seen the credits, the thing is, so...
You hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Oh. I thought it froze on me. So yeah, 2 endings left. 2 endings left.
All of his co-workers were gone.
For me to show, like obviously there's more than that, like a
Stanley
console
decided
command
to go to the meeting room.
one.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
I don't know how to
memo.
open the console in non-Skyrim games, so... Not that it matters, it's just a room with a chair and something, then the narrator says, oh, you have to reflect on this for millions of years.
When Stanley came to a set
This is the last time I'm going
open,
through
but
this
was
passage.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I think it's the last time.
Perhaps
Maybe
he
it's not
wanted
the
to
last
stop
time,
by the
actually.
employee lounge first, just to
Maybe there's
admire
actually
it.
3 endings left.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps
It's
too
a 6th
majestic.
variant of thing
Like a
you can say
combination
for
of a
this.
much smaller
I'm actually kind of
version
impressed.
and a much larger version of this exact room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yes.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight
Oh,
ahead
what
to
is
the
this?
opposite door, and got back on track.
Hi.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Can't go through here. Can't go back. So, gotta go left.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay.
No!
Spoilers!
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
It's not over yet, though. What
All
is
of his
this?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Actually, no, maybe there isn't. Maybe it is actually just the same thing as before.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
Nope, there's more doors.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Can't do anything here. What about over here? Maybe here?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we just...
Oh, and I'm back here.
Do we need
It
to
loops,
restart
yeah, I'm
the
pretty
game
sure.
again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Still not over.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nope, now the doors are gone.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Yep. Or we could go over there. Nope, can't open that door. It's not these doors, they're interesting to go... They would be interesting to go through to find out, but I'm pretty sure they have nothing.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this...
Trickery.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
And this cable. I keep
Oh, no.
hanging on to it too often.
I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put
Not
in
hanging
the
on
actual
to it,
work
but
for that win.
tugging
Some
at it.
people win fair and square,
It's easy
and
for it to
this was not
separate.
one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No, it's not gonna work. Okay, I guess it will.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Yeah, so if you want to go over here, this through this ending.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Don't know if I'll have to mute this music, so if you're not hearing any music, well, it's because of that. It's music that's copyrighted on the YouTube. The same thing happened to Gone Home. Heavens to Betsy's registered music or music group or something, I'm not sure. It's getting rather loud, like geez.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I think this is a fern. Pretty sure. A fern is a type of bush, plant, something.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ugh.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through...
Employee 601 was fired.
Restart.
Oh my goodness, another restart!
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
The captions actually make this a lot funnier. Because they add the TM to the line.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
Well, it is the right
answer is
door.
clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Yeah, he chose for us.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of
they
this?
both lead to the same place.
Really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart
I'm
the
pretty
game.
sure this
I
is where the
won't
confusion
do it. I won't do it.
ending
I won't
actually ends, by
do
the way.
it.
You don't go through these steps.
Stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Well, the game restarts on its own,
So-
apparently.
Okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
That was a creepy sound. Kind of scary, in fact. Okay, now it's time to go for the real ending. The good ending.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're supposed to find the line now if we're going for a confusion ending, but obviously that's not going to happen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I did the confusion ending before doing the good ending, because the confusion ending is kind of creepy. But not just for Stanley.
Decided to go up to his boss's office.
I want to explain something. If you actually go in the broom closet long enough, next time you play the game, it's actually going to be barred from you ever entering again, because he's tired of your nonsense.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Can I open you? I was quick enough. And there's probably more messages, but I think that's enough. Again, I've never inputted all the things. Look up on TV tropes or YouTube to see if that does anything. I'm pretty sure it does nothing.
Here's the door, just go.
Didn't even waste any time. So he does remember. Sorry, I had to take a sip. You talk for quite a while, you'll feel your throat starting getting raspy. And if you don't, well, you'll feel being raspy in a couple of hours.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mm-hmm.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yes, he did.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he
For reference, every time I said I would go with the real ending, I was clearly joking. I was just leading you guys on, thinking, oh, I'm gonna go through the real story. Nope, I'm gonna switch at the last moment.
To believe it. He couldn't accept
It's fun that way. But yeah, it's interesting to see that this game took me as long to cover as Gone Home. A little bit longer, actually.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine...
Yep. Off. Just press the off button.
Blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty.
But then...
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
There's a light over here. How come there's none behind me?
Moments away. And yet, Even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay.
Oh, there it is.
Where
I guess
had
really
this
there really
door
is nothing over there.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yeah, see, the narrator is all like, "Oh, you're finally free. You don't have to make listen to anyone else. You're free to do your own choices." And then he said, "You stepped through the door." You know, just to prove that. Oh no,
Stanley felt
you
the
still
cold
can't
breeze
actually
upon
decide
his
for
skin,
yourself.
the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
So yeah, it's a social commentary on the nature of
Right now, that things
narrative
were meant to
tropes,
happen.
games, that kind of stuff. But
And
the real
Stanley
reason why this game
was happy.
probably will age well compared to Gone Home and some other games is because it works with the player to make their own story. You know? That's what it is. That's why I feel it's better than Gone Home. That's my opinion, of course. Some people might think that the overall story of Gone Home makes it better than whatever this game does itself. Now let's see if we can find a fourth input button.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, literally the last
What
thing
could
to
it
do.
mean?
Seriously.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, couldn't find anything, so that's it. Hope you've all enjoyed this video. I'm not going to stay. Bye bye. Stanley Parable is on Steam if you want to play it yourself. There's only like the console endings and the console command endings and the save the baby for 4 hours ending that I haven't covered. I think maybe there's another one I don't remember. Who knows? Bye bye.